Okay, I welcome you all with love. I love the introduction with those clouds. It's really good work by Doug. So, Doug behind the scenes, thank you. Um, I want to make sure the sound is okay. Can people hear me pretty well? Doug, can you answer that?
Yes, everything's good.
Okay, good. Um, so we usually start with a little bit of dancing to get the energy going, integrates the heart and the mind. And so let's all dance together for a minute or two, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. Okay, hello everybody again. So, a lot's going on in the world, and I work with a lot of people, and it feels like people are being kind of disoriented because all the activities drawing our attention to the outside. The exposés in England, the exposés in the United States about the leadership, the sexual thing, the sexual perversions, the satanic energies that, are coming out, around the world. But we're seeing it right here in the U.S., as well as England, Australia, and so forth. So, what to do? How do we protect ourselves from this release of negative energy that's taking our attention? And so, the answer is actually quite simple. The struggle is not against the darkness directly. The struggle is put our attention back on the reality of who we are, the light of the divine within us. And when we experience that light of the divine, which I talk about with the lifestyle practices, the 6 foundations, 7-fold peace, they're non-sectarian, we begin to generate enough light that the darkness can't really enter us. It can't affect us. Also, it's taking our attention away from the newspapers and the magazines that are focusing on all the darkness. Because actually, in a certain way, the darkness is more interesting in a kind of a superficial way. It draws our attention. And the light, which lights up the darkness, isn't for many people as interesting. To me, it's very interesting. And the more we get into living this way, it's also very interesting. Why? Because it's the truth. Why? Because it gets our mind focused on the truth of who we are rather than the trivial of who we aren't. So the question is, what are we going to identify with? Are we going to identify with the trivial of who we aren't, or the light and bliss and wonder of who we are? That's the question we have to ask. When people say what to do, there's so much darkness and so much stuff going on. It's like, this is incredible. But we don't want to focus on that. We want to eat in a way that helps us become superconductors of the divine. That's the 100% vegan, at least 80% live food. We want to do breathing exercises and yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong, things that increase our prana, our life force, because it creates a field around us that's harder to penetrate. We want to do service and charity because it brings more light to not only ourselves, but those around us. We want to focus on group support and hang out with people and groups that support our upliftment. We want to focus on meditating. And, people meditate. Actually, if you've been meditating for more than 5 years, you have a physiological age that's 15 years younger. Now, that's pretty amazing. And it opens up a whole bunch of areas in the brain and actually increases your brain size by 1% a year. The normal brain size after the age of 30, people aren't exactly sure what that is to decrease 1% per year. But when you're meditating even 20 minutes a day, you literally, research has shown it increases your brain size by 1% a year. That's significant. Okay? And the frontal lobes, the temporal lobes, it's very good. Areas of the occipital lobes all have been shown by research that's very scientific. Places like Harvard has done a lot of this research. Okay, so increasing all that, and so meditation, focusing on the name of God, and prayer are really, really positive ways to increase that inner light. And then there's certain energies. In the East, we call it Kundalini. In the West, we call it like the Holy Spirit, or biblically, the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the spiritual energy within us. And all these things enhance it. And also, when we work with people like, how do I put it? I'll just put it straight. There are ways to activate the Kundalini energy in the Eastern tradition by look and by touch. Okay, by sound, that actually work. So in my other programs, I'm doing that more actively, and you can check drcousens.com and learn about that. We're also, there we go, and also we're having a fast, a spiritual fast in the Dominican Republic, May 26th. And we're meditating twice a day then. So that's another time where that deeper energy gets activated, because that's what I have been empowered to do. So good. So it's available. It's not, you don't have to go live in India for 5 years, 7 years, like I kind of did off and on, but I enjoyed that. So keep that in mind, okay? That all that's available. You want to hang out with people who are thinking positive about life and about their life and about your life, so that we're able to amplify who we are. So we want to turn it into a lifestyle. This is kind of what I'm really saying here. A lifestyle that supports us generating the light. And the light, just like a candle in a dark room, helps us see through the darkness. So this is the time. Okay, thank you, Morningstar. This is the time to really do it. And if anybody has any questions, I'm definitely open to answering those questions, as we're speaking. I can see the questions or statements come up on the screen, which is different than before. And just know we can do this. No, we will do this. We can, and we will. It's prophesized, actually, that we will enter the 1,000 years of peace, but after 1232, particularly, we're going to be moving in that direction, which is really, really good. But really, from 2025 is the 2075 is where we're kind of entering into the 50-year cycle then that allows us, okay, this is important, to really move into that 1,000 years of peace. So there's a transition time. And our work is to be ready. Our work is to live in a way that generates that light and that love, that divine sound existed before the creation. And so that we are able to handle more and more energy, because not everybody's going to be able to handle it. So our work is to make that happen. That's why we call it the Cousens commentary, because we are making comments that really, really want to encourage you to elevate your situation, to elevate your light, to create so much light around you that the darkness can't penetrate. So that's kind of what I'm saying. That is the good news. And it's good we hear good news, good we focus on the good news, but we're the good news. It's us making that step to go beyond our idea of our limitations. That's the good news. We can make that step. We can really make that happen. So that's what we're talking about. And our job is, again, to look at our lives and do our work. We don't need anything extra. We need to put the energy into making it happen within our means, within our own environment, to go further into activating the light of God within us, the truth of who we are. And, thank you, Doug, we have a world peace meditation that we do every Sunday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. And it's a way where we literally upgrade the frequency on planet Earth. We've been doing this since 1970s. And I've even done it at the United Nations. Those were times when the United Nations was more open to these kind of things, the mid-90s. But it works. There's no question about it. All the research that's been done, there's been over 300 studies on it, shows that when people meditate together, we can increase the frequency of peace. And the rate of crime drops. They did a study in 22 cities, 11 were 1% of the people were meditating, and their crime rate was 16% less than the 11 cities where there wasn't. They did a study in Rhode Island where meditators came in, they meditated a few hours a day, and the crime rate dropped 43%, violent crime rate. And people thought, that's a fluke. And then they came back the next year, and the crime rate dropped 49%. I'm talking violent crime rate, rapes, murders, and car thefts, and so forth. So there is no question that it works. We're not talking down at that level, but we have to work it. We have to be the ones who put that energy in. So it's there. And the more people who meditate together to make it happen, the better it goes. a professor of medical science at Stanford a while ago said that we need about 9,000 people, in the world picture, meditating every day to, with this in mind, to make this happen. So it's not a lot of people. So I just want to make that point. So it's all within our power. This is the good news. I'm giving you good news here. Some people do it with a revival. Some people do it, as I say, the 6 foundations, sevenfold peace. Sevenfold peace includes not just meditation, but family relations, community relations, spiritual ecology. These are all things that really do make a difference in the bigger picture. When we're living that way, we really do make a difference. And I think that's one of the most important messages that I want people to get is we do, or we can, make a difference. We have the power to make the difference and uplift all of humanity, uplift ourselves, and indirectly uplift all of humanity. So I want to bless everyone that we get inspired to live the 6 foundations, the sevenfold peace, and commit to building that inner light that creates an outer light, that creates us shielded from the darkness. We don't have to worry about it. It happens naturally and spreads that light to all of humanity. So peace be with you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Taku Asat. And that's Native American to all my relations. Om Taku Asat. Peace be with you.